Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And this is Full Metal Alchemist. Episodes
Brotherhood.
51 and 52. It is absolutely that. I've never seen an episode of the original Full Metal Alchemist, but we will one day watch that once we one day finish this show.
Yeah, thank you for the person who sent us those on DVD, Blu-ray, whatever. Blu-ray? Probably. Thank you.
Yep. I want to start off this by acknowledging the elephant in the room, which is that I've had an up and down relationship with the show. I think that what I will say about it, because I went back and rewatched some episodes.
Okay.
In some downtime that I've had. And I think that for me, I don't know that this show has the strongest plotting. I think that what is so good about it is its characters.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so I think that, like, because rewatching some episodes, I look back on them and I'm like, yeah, this still, like, the plot of this doesn't work, but I still enjoy watching it. And so, in the reactions, I'm sorry if that has come across as me not enjoying this, but I still think that that is true. I think that the plotting of the show isn't always the best, but the characters are, and so it's like kind of fine. It's a great show because of that.
Yeah.
Like, the plotting doesn't take away from its greatness because everything else really works.
Yeah. It's just if you take out a lens and put it under scrutiny.
Yeah.
And piece by piece as well. Like, that's just kind of the nature of reactions. But
I just think that because of that, because I'm such a fan of strong plotting and structure, this will never be my favorite show.
Sure.
But I understand why it is other people's favorite shows. Because that is what a lot of people like in a way that isn't my favorite, right?
Sure, yeah.
So I just wanted to acknowledge that because there have been some comments about it, and I understand where people are coming from. I think that it's an interesting concept of, like, taste about things that are very good. I'm able to, like, step back and be like, this show is very good. It's just focusing on things that aren't what I would focus on.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't make it not very good. It just isn't maybe my favorite thing. Even though I still really do enjoy it. And it's a show I would watch again. It's something I would put on because I do like spending time with the characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Having said that, if you want the full-length reaction, go to patreon.com/nerdynightly. But if you don't, stay here because you're already here. And that was a long intro, so the good stuff's coming. New song.
New song. We're going into the finale, y'all.
It's so sad. All of those people are alive. The blue just makes it seem like it's like, look at all these people who die. Is God Winry?
God is a woman.
I mean, she had titties, so.
Someone wrote that song already, so.
Does Ed get his body back and it's a woman? And this is like a commentary on, like, trans youth?
No.
No, okay.
No, it's not that.
Trust me, I already know. What the fuck was that? The fight we all want. I'm weirdly in love with Hawkeye. Maybe not weirdly. I think it makes sense. But
No, she's delightful. Her and her dog.
It is interesting growing older and realizing, like, I'm more into Ed's mom than I am Winry.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, when I was 18, it would be very different.
Yeah, absolutely. We're reaching that age.
Yeah, or I'm like, oh. I'm like weirdly into, like, the teachers in school in shows that take place in high school where I'm like, oh yeah, the science professor's hot.
Yep.
And honestly, I'm really glad that my tastes are going that way.
Yeah. I think that's how it's supposed to go.
Yay, these things are awake.
Yep, my favorite. Evil.
Well, then here is your test. I'd say it's successful.
They haven't done anything yet.
Who will fight whoever we order them to. We have our immortal legion at long last.
I would love if they just don't do anything.
They just stand there.
Like, they just stand there.
Their programming hasn't
It
been
would be
put
so
in.
funny.
I want you to listen closely. There are many renegade elements.
That thing's just gonna eat him.
You men have a job to do.
At least they're leaving the scientist alone. That's nice of them.
Yeah.
Wow, this is dark. That was a great shot.
Yeah. Fucking hate these things. Oh look, we made invincible soldiers.
They don't even heal. They're just like wounded and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I love that I was just like, maybe the show isn't for me. And then this beginning of this episode is one of my favorite things. Which is like really well executed zombie shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's exactly like Al told me.
Barry!
And who is this?
Barry the Chopper. One of the guardians of the Fifth Laboratory.
One of the best fucking characters in this whole show.
Facts.
Just is, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
interesting. Great voice performance.
Can you do that cosplay?
The naked one or
Barry
the...
the Chopper. No,
suit
like
of armor.
the suit.
I could. You'd have to make it, though.
Or just find someone else to you each cosplay half of him.
And chase each other around con.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Don't worry about it.
That's a bad sign.
Open.
Oh, fuck! Who's the prisoner now?
You're going to shoot?
All you mountain savages!
Mouse. I made a mouse.
This sword was passed through the Armstrong family for generations. Now I don't have to sully it with his filthy blood!
I mean, you've stabbed him twice with it.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know if she knows what the word sully means.
it didn't take his life, you know? Didn't claim it.
Whoa! Why are they filled with the slime from Nickelodeon? Guys, animal up. What are we doing? You have superpowered forms. Get in them.
They used human souls to make these things?
Damn.
Oh my
Titan shit.
fucking god. What? Literally, right?
They're starting to get out.
And now we're blocked in. What could go wrong?
Yeah, you said it, Zappano. Now that all these things are trapped here with us, we can really show our stuff. This is gonna be good.
I do like that the monsters are giving them enough time to have all these conversations. They're like, we can't attack until we're in a perfect circle.
Yeah. They appreciate formation
Ah, yes.
and order.
Mustang is fleeing in an ice cream truck.
What a sentence. What?
A bear with a mohawk? That's odd.
That sounds like Captain Buccaneer.
Does it?
Sure.
Oh, maybe he's like gay and he's very hairy.
Oh.
Yeah.
He didn't look very hairy.
Well, he's got clothes on. You're right. Most bears have like facial hair, but like, you know.
He's breaking the mold.
Who knew that sitting around waiting could be so painful?
I did. I hate waiting.
The waiting.
Hey, Alphonse, what's all that racket in there?
Salim's been playing with my head.
Come on.
Whatever else he might be, he's still just a little kid.
There we go.
Stop him, Alphonse! Stop him from making that sound! ... dash! It's code! He's sending out a signal! He's been broadcasting our location!
Oh, fuck.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, that would have been a better introduction of Kimberly being back than the random thing with Ishval's last episode that didn't mean anything.
Fair.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, he's just fucking dead. Well, Alphonse is fucked.
Well, Kimberly can't really explode him because he doesn't have
Yeah, but Pride
flesh.
can just take over his body again.
What's going on in...
What?
It's like you tricked me! No!
Yeah, no shit. This will never not be the goofiest shit. I love that even they're all like, what the fuck is happening? Oh, fuck. Yeah, girl, you fucked up. But you know who fucked up more? The adults that left you alone with this thing. That was a great fucking shot.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I do not like that at all. That looked sick as fuck.
Right.
Thanks for getting me this far, little squirt. So kind of you.
Fuck. Well, at least Envy can absorb all these things. So they have a solution to the immortal thing problem now.
Fair.
I don't know they're gonna get, convince them to do it, but...
Mr. Heinkel!
Yeah, fuck.
Why you?
Oh! Is he now just a little guy? Just got little legs puttering along?
You idiot.
Their grenades are insane.
Hey, look, I caught you.
Fuck. Shit. Yeah!
Hello, sister! Are you alright?
This is so fucking dumb.
I'm just glad to see that you're okay.
His head is so small.
Work on him. Maybe
The
if
fucking sparkles.
Why don't you let your brother have a crack at it? I'll take this atrocity down.
Your brother that 3 episodes ago you beat the shit out of and threw around the room like a rag doll.
Yeah.
This is where like the inconsistencies of that get to me. Because I'm like, well, you kicked his ass. Why are you losing? You know what I mean? Alphonse, just give yourself little feet. Why did you cut off your legs?
Don't talk back to me. At this rate, we'll both die.
I don't know how he thinks this is gonna work.
Oh no! Come on, legs! Move it! We've come too far! We can't afford to be beaten now! I won't let it happen!
See the cut to Pride and Kibley who are like, oh, they're over there. I can hear the
can hear
loud
them.
metal clanging.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, shit.
Mr. Heinkel, why do you have that?
I happened to pick it up. Now you give them hell for me. Alphonse.
That was a great scene.
Yeah.
Together.
It's emblematic though of like the character stuff is so good.
Oh, yeah.
In a scene where they're like hiding
Yeah.
in smoke but making all this noise,
Yeah.
right? And it's where the two sides of the show butt heads for me.
Yeah. I hear you.
But I'll take the stuff that doesn't make any sense for the like quality of that writing.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Are we getting Super Al now? Has he upgraded? Come on, show us the upgrade.
Good.
Show us what we're buying new action figures of.
Very well done, Alphonse Elric.
He didn't upgrade at all. See, this is just a failure of merchandising. Merchandising.
Yeah. you want to sell a new toy.
You want to sell Al 2.0 action figures, you got to upgrade the design.
Missed opportunity.
Look, you got to look at what Power Rangers has been doing for 25 fucking years, okay?
Right.
This shot of him, like, he's so hot. I like that a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
That was fun.
Things are moving. Fights are happening.
Yeah.
We got some scary zombies.
Yeah. Those are wild.
Yeah. Horrifying.
Envy's back because, of course, the kid couldn't control the fucking ancient...
The worm. Yeah.
May immediately fucked up.
Yeah, she's like 7, so, you know.
Apparently she's 13. Apparently. I know.
Huh.
Yeah, she has, like, a condition that makes her... Yeah, no, that's...
She's, like, just very short, I guess.
She has a condition that has put off puberty for a couple of years until she finds the key to immortality.
Except that she's, like, super horny for Alphonse.
But not horny. She looks at him with that, like, very young, like... The way, like, pre-pubescent girls often will look for, like, a boyfriend or husband in, like, romance stories.
Right.
Right? It's a trope that definitely exists.
Yeah.
I watched my sisters go through it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you go through puberty and that changes into a different kind of lust. There's a sprinkling of lust added in before you even understand really what that is.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you kind of grow into a more adult kind of romantic desire that's mixed with sexual desire.
Yeah.
On a healthier level, hopefully. For most people, but for some people.
Hopefully.
Never. You know, which I feel like the show is actually represented somewhat well with Ed and Winry. I feel like they actually do have a mature vision of lust in this show, which is funny because Lust is the character, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear that. It deals with them in a more interesting way than just like, you know, like your normal high school petty drama bullshit. Like, you know, they actually have some meaningful conversations and interactions.
Yeah, I think that like what is happening is great now. I think how it was set up could have been a little bit tighter.
Yeah, sure.
But where we got to, I'm really enjoying. Like, it's funny because at the beginning of this episode, I was like, oh, like, this show, like, does some things and blah, blah, whatever I said. And now I'm like, oh, this is, like, back to, like, this is what I love about the show.
Yeah.
With some goofiness. Really emotionally impactful episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the main plot was handled with care here in a way that moved it forward well.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that those boys locked themselves in that room with those things is really an interesting plot line.
Yep.
Heinleich's death was great. And his final words about the Philosopher's Stone.
Oh,
Heinkel?
Heinkel? Yeah, I think, yeah. Is he...
I also like him, like, convincing them that using Philosopher's Stones that have already been made is not like, bad.
As long as, like, you know, he's like, I understand you maybe not wanting to use it for a selfish purpose, but, like sure. giving them a reason that's, like, these people, this is their only chance to, like, fight. Like, they're, you know, they're, like, they're dead, but they can still contribute to making sure that other people don't
end up in the same position, right?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Ultimately, like, they are trying to turn Amestris into the largest Philosopher's Stone yet. And so if your goal is to stop that, there is something honorable in using the souls of the people who have already met that fate to stop anyone else from ending up in the position that they're in.
Yeah.
There's something, there is sort of a, like, balance to that, like, if I was dead, because they are dead, right?
Exchange, if you will.
They're not all going to get they can't pull everybody's bodies out of the Philosopher's Stone, right?
No.
So those people are all dead. Let's use them. I mean, it's rough language, but, like, use that power to you if I die, use my body for whatever you need to make other people's lives better, right?
Yeah. Take my organs and plant a goddamn tree. Like,
don't use me for selfish purposes. But, like, if you need my soul energy to make everybody else's world not crumble, like, seriously, like, if I could die to end global warming, I would. You know, but, like, seriously, like, if I could save millions of lives, use the energy of my soul to save millions of lives, I would make that trade.
Yeah,
Granted,
I hear you.
I've had a pretty good life, so, like, I can go out kind of being like, things have been pretty great.
Could have been worse.
It would have been sad. I would be sad to leave you, but at the same time, I'd be like, but babe, like, we got to save millions of people, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
And also, you know, like, not even just their lives, but, like, their conditions of living. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Shall we watch the next one?
Let's do it. Oh, right, we're watching 2. I was like, how are we getting out of this? People comment all the time that your chair's bigger than mine. And the funny thing is, your chair's actually smaller than mine. Yours is just raised up.
Yeah.
But we've gotten a lot of comments recently about, like, it's so funny that Clarce is in the bigger chair, but Nerdy's bigger. And I'm like, no,
it's
not.
because my chair is, like, up here, and his is, like, down here.
Yeah, yours is, like, 4 inches higher.
Yeah.
At least.
Because if you move your shoulder, like, over, like, this, like, that, yeah.
But I'm in an XL and you're in a regular.
Yeah.
So, like, even with this down, this is below that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so interesting they keep showing us that house fully built. Since we know it's not. It's been burned down. Honestly, I feel like Dust might actually be a better way to fight Pride than... Oh, he can just grow back now. That Philosopher's Stone's fucking working.
Yeah. Because he doesn't have to exchange anything for it, so, yeah.
Oh! Al is so much better at using alchemy to make weapons than Ed was.
Don't tell Ed that.
I do like that Ed always makes short blades, and Al made a long one, and look, he has reach and can actually fight with it, instead of the, like, 3 inches you put off your hand.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Decoy!
Wow.
Yes, the power of the Philosopher's Stone.
Al's pretty incredible.
Yep. It's the reason he's my favorite.
I'm not finished yet!
Dope. Oh, shit!
Oh, I'm tired.
Why is that so funny?
What the hell is that huge thing?
What?
The fastest homunculus of them all.
Are you all right?
Somehow. Well, fuck.
There you are.
Oh, now you can hear the metal.
It's an attack from behind!
Oh, he's still alive. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Injuries! Dr. Marco!
When the fuck did all of that happen?
Well, we saw them at the town, and they were gonna go towards the thingy.
That smoke must have been pretty impressive.
I mean, that's why he kept blowing it up, right?
Uh-huh.
To change up the truck's appearance.
Central meat.
A good thing I'm so beefy. I guess that shows you what a Philosopher's Stone can do for you, huh?
I love that the other two have become, like, full-on animals, and he's just, like, a hairier version of himself.
Yeah.
Like, these two become monstrosities, and he's just, like, Greek.
I mean, like, kind of.
Oh, he made the spear he made for his test. That's cute. Okay.
A few fractures, that's all.
And now they're dead.
He stopped?
Interesting.
To be fair, a lion bit his neck. So, I don't know if
everybody's immortal at this point. Literally every character in the show at this point is just functionally immortal.
I really got you!
Way to take him out, Fuzzy Lip!
Fuzzy Lip. Uncle has a mustache. Why would he call someone else with a less whatever, it doesn't matter.
Maybe because it's thinner.
Oh, yeah. Alright. Wow, that was a close shave.
Shut up! Quit whining and crying!
Just weeping.
We need to meet up with Ed and get rid of this father guy before that thing can catch up to us.
It's a fair point. We don't know that Pride can move very quickly, right?
Yeah.
They may well be tenacious creatures, but humans are easy to dupe.
You just got duped like 6 times this episode. It wouldn't
Pride
be so
is
fucking
very
arrogant
pride,
right now.
But it's pride.
I know.
One can be sure, in this world, humans are of little consequence.
This is fucking bleak as shit.
And here you are dying like a pathetic wreck. It must be humiliating.
This is so fucking bleak.
Yeah, I mean...
This scene is crazy.
Because you will continue to live inside me.
Wild. That's crazy.
Pride does not fuck around.
Alex!
And so all I had to do was wait for him.
Oh, what a fucking visual!
By the way, there are orders to shoot me for being a traitor.
What? We can't have that. You can't die until all of the paperwork is in place.
There's nothing.
We're under attack?
It can't be. Mustang soldiers?
Nah, I think it's zombies. Yeah. Ah, fuck. They're out.
All right, soldier. What's it gonna be? My brother and I can take care of these monsters.
You are bleeding from the eyes. Ah, fuck. I was worried about that. Yeah.
Well, what's it gonna be? Do you plan on shooting us and then fall prey to the monsters after? Or are you going to work with us and bring them down together?
It's a pretty badass move.
I love her. There's so many.
All right,
more.
Envy, do your job.
Envy is the vacuum cleaner of these guys.
How many of those high-pitched screams did that voice actress have to do?
Too many. If I ever get, like, muscly enough, doing an Envy cosplay would be super fun. Because, like, my boobs aren't, like, the biggest, so I can, like, flatten them pretty easily.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
All of these mannequins have been infused with Philosopher's Stones. That's where their immortality comes from. But I'll still find a way. I must, to save my clan!
I believe you, May.
Running out of quills! My spit's starting to dry up too.
I could have done without that sentence.
Maybe I could lend you a hand. Full Metal.
The gang's getting back together.
You said no.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, we're starting to bring people together. We're having some fun.
Yeah.
I will say, and I don't want to be too negative, because I think the episode is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that this show could find a more narratively interesting way to end a fight than Deus Ex Machina moments. Because this episode had so many of them that it got just... there's just a point where I'm like... I wish that creatively the show did something else sometimes. Because this show had the...
I don't know if it's Deus Ex Machina for, like, Marco and Mustache.
On its own, it's not, right?
Okay.
I'm not saying that, like, doing it occasionally is fun, like, bad every time. I'm saying that this episode did it with every single fight and did it multiple times in some fights.
Isn't it not Deus Ex Machina if it's set up? Like, Deus Ex Machina is like an act of God, like some other thing.
Sure. Deus Ex Machina might be the wrong word. I think that what I got a little bit tired of just in this episode was and now we're in ultimate danger and somebody shows up. And now we're in ultimate danger and this happens. And they played the card too many times that by the time Mustang does it at the end there, I'm like, yeah, you've done this 6 times in this episode. Yuki with the car, Marco, they did it with Armstrong saving Olivier Armstrong. I wish that the show is in a weird place where the enemies are so powerful that our heroes can't reasonably stand up to them, and so the show kind of has to do that in order to prolong the fights. But when you have so many instances of that happening in the same episode, I got a little bit tired of it.
Okay.
Because in only 22 minutes it happened like 5 times. And so I just wish creatively the show had found a different way to handle the interactions between heroes and villains in this episode.
Yeah.
Than the like, oh look, they didn't die because this person showed up. Oh look, they didn't die because this person showed up.
Yeah.
It just was a little too much for one episode of TV for me.
Gotcha.
Because the previous episode I really was enjoying. And then I kind of got a little bit tired this episode of like, oh, we're kind of just handling every situation the same. And they're such different situations that I wish creatively the show had chosen to handle, and probably the original manga, right? I wish they'd just chosen to handle the situations differently so that it didn't just kind of feel like there was like a rubber stamp for how we were going to handle each thing.
See, I feel like each thing was handled differently. Like, it wasn't like a bunch of different people showed up to different situations and had the same, like, Band-Aid for each situation.
But they kind of did, right? Like, oh, look, Al's about to die because the thing's heading at him. Oh, no, or Marco's about to die. The thing's heading at him. No, the car shows up. And then in this, it's like, oh, the guy's about to jump on Ed. Boom, the door blows up. It was pretty consistent in that way. Oh, no, Olivia just got hit. Oh, no, Armstrong got in there in time. Like, it kind of happened. And maybe they feel differently to you. To me, I felt like this episode didn't do a lot creatively with the fighting to make it... to make them separate enough for me.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that, like, I think that a lot of it is kind of, like, that to me feels very, like, generic anime. They're like, pow, 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 and then a boom thing happens. Like, that's kind of, like, that just feels like the what do you call it? The bread and butter of anime fights. So I totally, like, I hear you. It was very much like, it was very thematically the same. But yeah, I guess I just never, like, noticed it because it's kind of what I expect from a lot of anime fights. So I think just having them all grouped together, because everybody's fighting. Like, I think, you know, when it's like... Yeah. When
and this episode is just everybody's different fights.
It's just everybody fighting.
And there's no...
It really highlights that. Because if it's like... If it's like one person or two people fighting, you don't notice it as much. But for sure when it's, you know, Al is fighting with Pride, and Ed and them are all fighting those zombies, and the zombies are fighting everybody, and Envy and May, and then also I'm missing one. I'm missing one. Doesn't matter. The Armstrongs.
Yeah, and Sloth.
Like there's it's each jump is just to a different fight. Which one thing that I do really love about this episode is the creative ways they found to cut and
I agree with
knit the fights together.
The one cut to between the alchemy of the field fight to the alchemy of Armstrong throwing the needles at Sloth, I thought was really good.
Yeah. There's some cool creative use of like the. Of just really like tying it together seamlessly as opposed to just jumping to the next thing, but finding a way to like link them.
Interestingly, Kimberly's death was a great scene.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I do think that it makes me really dislike him murdering the Ishvalans for that one shot. I dislike that shot more and more the longer we go on with it.
Because it just doesn't
Because there was no point to it.
Yeah.
It was just to have the shock of like more Ishvalans dead. Which is like, it's fine. I think that we can be more creatively interesting than that. Than to just like massacre a genocided people off screen. To show that he's back. When like the more interesting him coming back would have been him hitting Heinkel.
Yeah, I hear you.
But the scene between Pride and him, this show sometimes gets a little bit fast and like doesn't take time for things because it wants to get to the interesting bit, and it really slowed down for that. And so I think that for me, like of these 2 episodes we watched, that was the most interesting scene because of the decision to slow down and play out and allow it to really like breathe and into the emotion of it, and really get into like Pride's psychology and what he thinks of humans. And you know, I do kind of wish we got more from Kimberly and Scar in the end. I think it is interesting to end that character away from Scar and away and like not kind of tie that into Scar's resolution in some way.
Right.
But the way the scene was handled within the episode I thought was really, really good.
Yeah. I do love that moment as well.
Mm-hmm. One of the things, because I talked about at the beginning, like the plotting of this show isn't the strongest to me.
Yeah.
One of the ways in which I think that is playing out now is our characters don't have a lot of skills that they didn't have at the beginning of the show. Right? And I think that it is interesting that Ed brings out the spear that he made at his his alchemist test.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I feel has been interesting about the show is our main characters haven't learned a lot about like how to be better at what they do. And so they've learned some stuff about like larger pieces of alchemy they didn't know, right?
Yeah,
about
and
philosopher's
Al can
stones.
now transmute without a circle.
Yeah, he has that ability.
Or a circle, but yeah.
But in terms of like combat or in terms of like ability, I don't really feel like this show has shown our characters to improve, really. And it is interesting now because we're at this end point where in every single fight, our heroes are overmatched completely. And I think that I wish that we were at a point where some of the fights could be a little bit more evenly matched.
Right.
So they didn't all have to end with either fleeing or these kind of like luck moments.
Yeah, I hear you.
Just so that there would be a fight here or there where our characters were really like in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that maybe that's what I'm feeling from this episode is that every single... We're in episode 52, and we're still at the point where the bad guys just completely overmatch the good guys.
Well, and
so at what point are any of these fights ever going to be equal?
Yeah, and I think that we just read the Inheritance Cycle, which does that really well, in my opinion. Like, it has our main characters, like, fail at things and then learn things and then improve upon
and
their
still
strategy.
Not be able to match the big bad at the end.
Yes.
But in a way that, like, is, like, even with all of the things we've learned, we still can't fight them.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would say Ed and Al are better combatants now than they were at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, no, their growth has been a much more, like, emotional one.
Yes.
And not, like, acquiring new skills or getting better at alchemy or really any of, like, those things. It's been emotional and, like, moral, and, like, that in and of itself is interesting, but I agree that when like right now we're watching the combat, the fight stuff, and so we don't have that change from episode 1 to episode 50.
But I think that when you get into very combat heavy episodes, I think that maybe
it falls flat a bit because of that.
Because the show has never really been about our characters getting better at this.
Yeah.
I think that maybe that's where I think like the combat stuff doesn't work as well for me.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Because it is sort of the same.
Yep.
Other than like obviously Al gets the Philosopher's Stone and his magic is better momentarily while he has it.
Yeah, for sure. He just kind of gets a level up.
But even in that, he's not really doing anything he wasn't previously doing, other than making the flashbangs. I think that's the only thing we haven't seen him do before. But
and heal himself without his like parts.
That's true.
Like, he created legs for himself.
But he doesn't have the Philosopher's Stone now, so like he already can't do that again, right? So we kind of are in this. Or no, did Pride get that from him in that?
Well, they went to go open up his hand and it wasn't there. So
Marco has it. So they do have it. Marco has it.
Yes.
So they still have the Philosopher's Stone. I think that like because when the show takes a turn towards just fighting, the only person whose fighting ability has been interesting to me since they left Central last time has been May, because Alkahestry has given her like abilities that are playing differently than like I make a weapon and I swing it at you.
Yeah.
And so I think that might be why sometimes an episode like this is just a lot of fighting, and it's just a lot of our characters doing the stuff they do. Is just a little bit narratively like they're doing it.
Yeah. No,
and the bad guys are still better than them. And like, how has the journey our characters been on allowed them to interact with the situation differently?
Yeah.
And I don't see that, right?
Yeah.
I thought I was hoping that by the end of this episode, that Armstrong taking out Sloth in that way would change Olivia's mind about him, and that we would see some character growth from her and being like, oh, this like image I've had of my brother is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't. She has the exact same interpretation of him that she has before this fight, even though he just showed her what he can do and that he isn't weak, right? And that he will take a hit for her. And to me, I'm like, well, if it doesn't change her, why are you showing it to me? Why did you write it?
It was like it was played more comedic.
But I don't want comedy right now.
No, and I hear you. I think like what you're saying makes a lot of sense. That like the way that you're looking at it is like, when I watched this the first time, like I wasn't like analyzing shit, but I think that that is a really important point, that it's the emotional scenes and the character development stuff that is the heart of the show that makes it so good.
Yeah.
And because we don't have that development in other areas, there are moments where it kind of falls flat. It doesn't. And I think that it's highlighted because the emotional stuff is so good.
Well, the Al Heinkel scene in the last episode was so good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Him, like,
because the strengths of the show are so strong,
it
highlights the weaker points a little bit harsher. And, you know, maybe that's unfair in a way, but I think it mileage may vary as, like, in terms of how that affects your experience of it.
Yeah. And it plays out in things like, oh, Sloth is super speed now. Why? Like, what? Like, why? Why do that now? All of a sudden, I don't know. Like, it wasn't even cooler than the previous fight. But they fought Sloth multiple times now.
Yeah.
And now he's just super fast. He's Sonic the Hedgehog. But
I think he just
there's not a lot of like narrative. Like, I didn't get anything out of that. It didn't change the fight. They kind of do the same things after that.
He just keeps missing. He's like, I'm the fastest, but I also can't hit shit. Like,
which is an interesting concept.
Sure, but it just kind of was like,
it just kind of comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, surprise.
And I didn't understand. And I didn't understand why it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so, like, I get that, like, I don't know. It is interesting. I think that this show's all over the place for me. And, like, the episode 51, I was, like, really, really on board with.
Yeah.
And then episode 52, I'm kind of not. And I'm flip-flopping between these episodes in a way that I really, like, I don't know how I feel about them. It's weird. Because some of the character stuff, the Pride scene, like, it really was so shocking and so good in this episode.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff around it, I was just kind of like, this is a little predictable. Except, like, Sloth suddenly having super speed isn't predictable, because, like, I never would have...
You would not have guessed that Sloth would be the fastest?
And I'm glad he's not dead, because if he just got a sudden power-up and then immediately died, I'd be like, well, that was kind of weird. And maybe all of the homunculus have a second level, because Gluttony has one. With his, like, eye, right? And, like, Pride has, like, the Salim body and then the tunnel thing. Mm-hmm. So, like, maybe they do all have second forms, and that's just, the show has set that up. So maybe I'm wrong on this one. It just felt like it would have been really helpful when he was fighting tanks 10 episodes ago. Mm-hmm. But then that's it, right? Like in episode 51, they hide in the smoke. And then in episode 52, Pride is like, oh, I can always smell where you are, so you can't hide from me. And I'm like, you literally he hid from you in my life 7 minutes ago.
Yeah, but then they use that to, like, Al uses it to his advantage, and he hides the other people, like, where he can't smell them because of the direction that the wind is blowing. So it, like, comes back into play.
Oh, sure. I totally see what you're saying. I'm just saying that, like, introduce that first then, instead of having this weird sequence of him hiding in smoke but making all of these loud metal clanging sounds. And then the next episode have, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, the sounds, sure. I think that the smell and the wind, that was all, like, done very well. But yeah, the fact that, like, sometimes they can hear Al.
And sometimes they can't.
Like, they were having a full-on conversation.
He was banging his metal hand.
No,
and then it cuts to Pride and Kimberly on the hill being like, oh, I wonder where they fucking went.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. I want, when this show is good, it is so good that I want that quality to be consistent.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it is. And so that, to me, is what, like, it drags the show down sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, like, that stuff is great, right? Mm-hmm. Like, the stuff that rocks so hard.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, there's other stuff that I'm like, well, why are we doing this?
Yeah. When it's banging, it's banging.
What, like, if I really had to ask myself, how has Al changed over the course of the show? I think it's kind of hard to say. He hasn't gotten better at anything. He, like, he's gone through crises of confidence, momentary, but he always kind of ends up back at himself. So maybe he's more confident in the person that he already was, but he has, I wouldn't say that he's fundamentally changed. Ed, I think, has gone through more of an arc of change, and Ed is a little bit more angry and a little bit more independent and a little bit older. Mm-hmm. Al, in a weird way, is the more interesting character to me, but I also don't know that I would say he's learned much.
Do you think maybe he's stagnant because his soul is detached from his body?
Yeah, I definitely think that there's an element of that in terms of the way it is being presented. I think that I think I want something from the show that it isn't going to give me. And I don't think this show is very interested in how the fighting works. And so it is very loose on that. Mm-hmm. And so when the episodes are all fighting, I just am kind of like, well, this is 20 minutes of combat that isn't specific. So why? So I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna, like, tune out a little bit because you're spending this whole episode just watching people fight, but the rules around that fighting are not set by this show. I think that if you want to not care about the fighting, don't have so much of it and just write out. Like I said, write other resolutions to these conflicts.
Yeah.
If you're not interested in the rules of your world being consistent, don't combat so much.
Yeah.
Because that's where the show gets a little bit like, and then the car shows up and the problem is solved. Because, and this was a plan that they had that they made in the smoke that we just didn't see.
Yeah.
And, like, that to me is like, okay, yeah, it's fine. It's just not my favorite. I would rather see the specifics. I would rather you go into how this works and be consistent with it and then get playful with those specifics, because that's where I think the real magic happens.
Yeah.
But when it's loose the whole time and you just do something different and Sloth suddenly has super speed, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess he can.
Yeah.
Sure. Narratively, I don't know what it means. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Fair.
I wish the show nailed it down a little bit. I just wish it was tighter.
Sure. Yeah, I hear you.
It just feels, it's like an old house that creaks every time you step somewhere because it's gotten a little loose. It's a little creaky.
All right.
Yeah, and I think people are going to be mad at me. I think people are going to be like, no, this is like the greatest thing ever. And, like, if you love it, good. Like, my opinion should not sway yours. I'm honestly at this point where I'm like, fuck, I just want it to be tighter. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's going to get there because it doesn't seem to want to. Mm-hmm. I don't think it really cares. As a show, it just doesn't feel like it cares that much.
Yeah, because this has been something that we've talked about consistently for pretty much the whole show. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's tough. I want to watch it. I'm not like saying like let's stop at all.
No, and you're
I'm
not
still
like
very
I don't
curious.
like the show. It's just there are things that like stand out to you.
It just has enough 10 out of 10 moments that I want it to be like riding at a 9. But instead I get a lot of 10 out of 10 moments and I get a lot of 6 out of 10 moments.
Mm-hmm.
And the like whiplash bouncing between the two is more frustrating than if the show was just a 7.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I think that this show is frustrating because it is inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I think it is better than shows that are just a 7.
Yeah.
But at times it just does these weird things. And so I'm more frustrated watching it because I've seen the show be a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Versus a show that's like always a 7. I know what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
And so my expectations are just like, I'm going to be fine and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I it's tough. It's tough. I don't know what I would rather. I don't know if I would rather watch a show like this or a show like that.
Yeah.
Because it really is.
Yeah.
And I think that I had the same feeling about Attack on Titan. I just disagree more with the like intent and like real world implications of Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
So that world got more frustrating than this.
Yeah.
Because I also didn't agree with it on like a like moral level.
Yeah.
And so it is an interesting thing that this show has done. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Sorry if this is a weird conversation. I'm sorry if this is like negative and I don't know.
No, I think you're very clear.
The show's fun. I just want it to be more.
Mm-hmm. Because you've seen it be more.
Because sometimes it fucking rocks.
Yeah.
And when it does, it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
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 It's just weird. If you like the video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave mean comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. In this episode, that algorithm goddess is...
Armstrong.
Yeah. I'm hopeful. I'm still fingers crossed for some growth from her. She's a little one note right now. But I'm hopeful. I don't know where her super strength went. If you want to follow us on the internet, you can. I'm at Nerdy Nightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
Do something nerdy tonight, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.